But anyway, while Australians are trying to decide who to support in the May 3rd poll, Anthony Albanese and his partner Jodie Hayden, well, they're trying to decide what song they'll dance to at their wedding. Yeah. That was one of the big issues the PM addressed on a British podcast at the weekend. Here he is.
We have gone through a range of music that can be played as a wedding song. And I've got to say, Alistair, it will be easier to work through the global geopolitical position than it is to come up with a single song, I think, at this point in time. We do have slightly different musical tastes.
Well, look, thank goodness we've got that clarified, because that was obviously breaking news. I mean, we've all been desperate to know about the music at the wedding. Now, he was actually doing a UK podcast here, which I don't know why he bothered. I understand that podcast is one of the more popular in the world. Why would you bother going on a UK podcast? It's got nothing to do with the current election cycle here in Australia. But what it goes to show is that he's only comfortable when he's talking about his wedding, Toto the dog, when he's talking about Jodie, when he's obsessing over Peter Dutton, or when he's flashing around his Medicare card. Look how happy he was there.
Look, I agree it's nauseating, but you've got to give Anthony Albanese credit, because this is what Peter Dutton should be doing. I don't mean getting married again, but Peter Dutton needs to be showing his softer side. I mean, I didn't know Peter Dutton had a dog until the Easter weekend. Now, maybe I've missed that and everyone else knew, but Peter Dutton did a 60 Minutes interview some time ago. It rated very highly because people want to see the softer side of the hard man of the coalition. We had his son join the campaign just last week. They should have rolled him out earlier. Anthony Albanese, whatever you think, he's showing the softer side of him. Remember, he went through that makeover and so on.
Oh, yeah, what, in the Woman's Weekly?
Look, most people think Elbo's a decent guy. Inept, hopeless, but he's a decent guy.
A nauseating piece in the Woman's Weekly.
Well, it's
with
working.
Toto the dog.
He's winning in the polls.
Yeah, but
don't
forget, the Liberal Party are doing very well on their social media. In fact, they're getting more views than Labor on their social media.
Who cares if you're winning social media, but you lose the election?
Yeah, but this election, no, I disagree. This election is being fought on social media right now. That is how they're reaching the audience.
That's the platform, but that's not the message.
But no, because the reality is that voters are very disengaged right now. This election campaign is extremely boring. There is nothing exciting about it. There is nothing that you would want to splash on the front page of the paper. So where it's being won and lost right now is actually on TikTok, on Twitter, on Instagram Reels. That is how you're reaching the audience, particularly a younger audience.
That's how you reach them, but what are you reaching them with? And the Liberal Party have failed to convince Australians that Peter Dutton, aside from being a hard man, and the cost of living crisis, people are a bit scared of a hard man because what's going to happen to our affairs if he comes in and slash. That's the message from Labor. They haven't convinced people or shown people the softer side of Anthony Albanese, of Peter Dutton. I'm just saying, for all the nauseating thoughts that are conjured when you see Anthony Albanese talking about what song they'll perform at their wedding, they are showing the softer side. The Coalition have not done that for Peter Dutton.
I do agree, but I do think that the Liberals' social media campaign has been very good, and some of it's been very, very funny. I will say that. I've laughed at quite a bit.
If they're losing in the polls?
It doesn't matter. It's reaching a different audience. They're not reaching an audience in the day-by-day press conferences nor the debate. It is tuning people off. They are bored of the same old thing. Well, that's just my opinion anyway. But look, part of the interview that I found curious was Albanese's insistence that the voice referendum had not been divisive, would you believe? Have a listen to this.
The referendum was disappointing, but then again, there have been two referendums on 4-year terms that have been knocked back as well. But as soon as someone says no, it is really easy. And there was a big negative campaign put out there, and it was some of the misinformation that was out there is something that was hurtful.
When he says there was a big negative campaign put out there, that would be the nature of the no campaign. It tends to be negative. For him to say it was a negative campaign rather than Australians simply rejected what was a bad, divisive idea shows the Prime Minister's got a tin ear on this issue.
Clearly doesn't want to accept the results still. It's still quite raw, even though the majority of us said no, James.
Yeah. 60%.